Let's face it, things don't always go according to plan. In fact, sometimes they can take a bit of a weird turn. So then what do? Well, you could have a full-fledged temper tantrum, or you can simply quit.
I quit.
Homer, Mr. Burns can't see you winking.
Or you could take the high ground and find a way to make the most of it. You know, I'm looking at you and I'm thinking, shoot, you're smart enough that you have figured out that I recently did something that didn't go according to plan. And you, my smart, good-looking friend, would be correct. Here's what happened. It was a typical pre-work morning where I was gathering some resources, and I decided that I really wanted to stock up on some copper. And in the midst of my mining endeavor, I began to hear the beckoning call of the zombies in a chorus of grunts and gurgles, which eventually led me to the discovery of a nearby zombie spawner. Now, anybody that knows me knows that I love finding mob spawners. And if you don't know me, hello, nice to meet you, my name's Emmy, and I love finding mob spawners. But in this particular instance, I'm not too thrilled when I find a zombie spawner because, well, let's face it, who the heck wants an abundance of rotten zombie flesh? Ew, it's totally gross. Hello, goodbye. Well, on this particular morning when I was still only mere sips into my first cup of coffee, I had what I thought was a brilliant idea. I'm like, a zombie spawner, I'm trying to find copper ore. Hello, why not make a drowned farm? So that's what I set out to do. We don't want your kind here, Mr. Skeleton. This party is for zombies only. The absolute nerve. And the same to you, Mr. Creeper. That goes double. I ended up going on YouTube and did some searching, and I found a rather simple looking design that takes a zombie spawner and turns it into a drowned farm. Now, normally I would give credit where credit is due and let you know whose farm tutorial I followed. However, in this instance, I'm not going to do that, and I think you'll understand why in a little bit. The overall design is very straightforward and probably what you're extremely used to with any type of mob farm. You dig out 4 air blocks on all sides of the spawner, and then you put some blocks above the spawner to make sure nothing can spawn and land on top of it. Then you've got the waterways, which lead to a singular funnel where all of the mobs funnel down. Now, the only difference with this farm compared to other ones is the addition of some water in the drop chute and a cobweb so that they will stay suspended in the water and convert from zombie into drowned. Since I felt like I had a pretty good handle on things so far, I thought, well, why not dig out the room and make it a little bit more functional? So I went ahead and took the time to figure out how to add an item sorter to the mix. Originally, my thoughts were, well, you know what, I'm going to have the copper ingots, I'll have the zombie flesh, and then I'll have all the other various drops. But then I also realized, hey, bonus, I will also get some of the drowned heads that drop. At this point, I felt like things were going pretty well with this design, so I thought, well, why not go ahead and over-engineer this a little bit and do some nice flooring, a splash of green terracotta on the walls, and some tinted glass for the flooring above. The only problem with choosing that particular flooring is that now I can see all of the little chickens that get caught in the farm, which means I end up having to go on chicken rescue missions because I think they're cute. And I feel sorry for them. Yes, people, I know this is just a game and they're just pixels. Accept me for who I am. I am the chicken rescuer. And I wonder why it takes me so long to get a project done. And here is the mostly completed interior of the farm, and here it is with shaders on. And you will be happy to know that we have an official chicken sanctuary. Live your best life, fellas. Next, I took some time and recruited a couple of young whippersnappers to join the cause down there so I could get rid of that rotten zombie flesh. He was a little stubborn and needed a little bit of coaxing. I really hope I put something down there to break that fall. So by this point, it seemed like everything was going really quite well. Oda stopped by, so I was showing him the inner workings of the farm. And in the midst of this, we realized that nothing was dropping down anymore, and you could actually see their little arms and legs flailing out of the edges there. After a bunch of troubleshooting, we finally figured out that at nighttime, the drowned actually go into swim mode, so they were swimming in that chamber rather than falling down through the cobweb. So that's a bit of a bummer since I planned on using an auto clicker and making this an AFK farm. Let's put this farm to the test and see how it does. I set the timer for 30 minutes, turned the auto clicker on, and away we go. For your emotional well-being, I have sped this part up so that you don't have to sit here and watch me auto-click for 30 minutes. I would like to say that I did empty out the collection chest prior to starting this, so whatever is in that chest is what we have gotten in these past 30 minutes. As you can see, apparently it is nighttime and all of the drowned are practicing their Michael Phelps imitations and swimming their little arms and legs off in that tube. So let me go ahead and hide the timer and we will go and look and see what we collected. So for 30 minutes of AFK work we have collected, there's 20 in the chest and then 3 ended up in my inventory, so for a total of 23, yep, flexing the math skills, for a total of 23 copper ingots. I mean, that's not really very good. I mean, on the one hand, it's 23 ingots more than I would have had if I wasn't standing at the farm, but on the other hand, it's kind of lousy. So, as a fair comparison, I am going to give the same amount of time going out to a dripstone cave and seeing how much copper I can mine in 30 minutes that way. Now, before you start getting antsy thinking I'm going to make you sit here and watch me mine copper for a half an hour, I am not, I promise you. But I did at least want to take this opportunity for you and I to have a little chat about this entire situation. See, here's my point in this video. I understand that AFK farm may not be the greatest thing in the world, but that doesn't mean it has to be a throwaway. I still think it is worth taking the time to make it fun or weird, unique, whatever. I mean, it's part of the history of the world. So I still want to embrace it. I mean, I'm just going to make it weird and fun, whatever. And not for nothing, but it did actually give, you know, relatively okay XP. I believe I went from like level 10 to 30 during that time. And, you know, like I said, it's just an AFK farm, so it has its place. Now, what I want to know, I'm assuming that all of the zombie spawner to drowned farms are pretty lame. I don't know. I actually didn't really look into it. It was kind of spur of the moment. I've seen copper farms that use different mechanics that do not rely on the zombie spawners that seem to be a lot more efficient. You just have to be able to invest the amount of time needed to build such a farm, and who knows, maybe one day I will. Now back to mining. If I'm being honest, I almost stopped after just a few minutes because I already had a stack of copper, but I decided I was going to push on and see exactly how much I could get in a half an hour. Well, almost a half an hour. I did leave a few minutes early, but you know what? I think this is going to make my point. I mean, honestly, based on pure ore alone, I already blew the numbers out of the water. But then when you take into account using a fortune pickaxe, the numbers become pretty absurd. I dare you to try and guess how much I ended up with. One thing I didn't take into consideration for that 30-minute timer is the sheer amount of time that it takes to break down all those ores. Not only that, but the time it takes to smelt them as well. But I guess that is all just the price of doing business. As a visual reminder, let me show you again. This is what we got from the farm, was 23 copper ingots. Now let me show you what we got from our mining session. Yeah. It's a lot. The entire double chest. Not only that, but there was so much, it doesn't even have any more room to smelt it into the chest, so it's just sitting in the hoppers. So yeah, I'd say it was a little bit more productive. Just a little bit. So the big question now is, what do we do with a farm that is really not very useful? I say we give it a grand and glorious entrance to celebrate its magnificence. Okay, I know I'm weird, but I just thought it would be really fun to give it like this big, grand entrance. Just because it would be a funny juxtaposition, I like that word. Please never correct me if I'm using it wrong. Of giving a grand entrance to a terrible, terrible farm. That's what I'm gonna do. And of course, I hope it goes without saying that the build, of course, must include a good amount of copper, just to celebrate The most wonderful copper farm, said no one ever. So let's go ahead and once again speed things up so that we can get to the final product. I figured I'd give you a little nighttime glance before I sleep and get it switched back over to daytime. Please note I did also hire 2 security guards for this magnificent entrance. One of them seems to be a little more attentive than the other. Dude, you're not even looking the right direction. Alrighty, let's take us a quick nap so we can get some sunlight back in the world. And here's a daylight peek at this magnificent structure. Now, if you will kindly follow me, I'll show you what else I added. I decided to put a honey elevator leading down to the farm itself. I don't see a lot of people building these, and I can kind of understand why. I know there's a lot faster and more efficient ways to do it, but I like things that are fun and different. So I went with this method because I think it's fun to slide down the honey blocks and stick to them when you want to and free fall when you want to. And then, of course, if you prefer, you can just do a straight old dead drop down to the bottom. Just like that. Beautiful. So is this the most useful farm I've ever built? No, absolutely not. But you know what? You might as well just embrace it for what it's worth. I can still get some emeralds from it. I can still AFK at it if I want to. I mean, if you put that much work into building something, then at least dress it up and enjoy it the best you can. If you enjoyed this video, I hope you will subscribe and then check out this video because I think you'll like it.